Alright, so I want to have a little chat with you guys. Um, if you watched my video from earlier, I did this moose as a little friend to this bear. And while I was carving this moose, a friend of mine drove up behind the camera, and after I finished carving that moose, I stopped and chatted with him. And, well, I'm kind of disappointed. So, I used to belong to a group of people that promoted love of your neighbor and love of everyone, even those who you don't like or who don't agree with you. Love of them, but I and every one of that group, everyone in that group, is promoted to say, like, they're told to hate people that leave that group. And, well, that group calls itself a church. And I left that group, I left that church almost 2 years ago. And this old friend of mine belongs to that church. And that was one of his questions. Because I hadn't seen him in, well, since I left that church, before I left that church, actually. And he was just curious, and anyhow, he's like, well, you know better, you should come back. And anyhow, so I was like, no, I do know better, and that's why I'm not a part of that anymore. And so I finished carving that for the day after he left, and I got back here and was looking on my phone, and I lost a friend on Facebook. And sure enough, I went looking for him, and he blocked me. So, any group that you might belong to that calls itself a church, that says that it loves people, but as soon as you leave that group, or as soon as your friends leave, you're told to hate them, to unfriend them on Facebook, or to block them and whatnot. And I've had many friends do that to me in the past couple of years. That's not a church, and that's not love, and those aren't friends. That's a cult, and I was a member of that cult 2 years ago, and I did this same thing to other people, and I've been on the receiving end of this for a couple of years now, but, like, and I'm used to it by now, but that doesn't make it right. And, it's just really disappointing to have someone not agree with you on something and decide that they hate you for it. I have a few friends that still belong to that church, that we're still friends, and that's because they are true friends. They didn't let that come between us, that I left, that it's a cult. No air quotes can save the nuance of it being a church. It's a cult, straight up. So, if you're in a group of people, doesn't matter if they call themselves a church or not, if you're in a group of people and they tell you that anyone that leaves is shunned, is to be hated, you're not in a church. That's not love. That's not friendship, and that's not godly. I don't hide the fact that I'm a godly man. I strive for holiness, and I don't hide that on my channel, so I hope that people won't be too taken back by this video. But ultimately, I don't really care. You know, my relationship to God is all that matters. Whoever comes in between that, or tries to come in between that, they don't matter to me. And even the friends that do stick around, they don't matter enough to me that if they did leave, that I hate them or anything else, you know. So sorry for the rant, but I just feel like it had to be said. So anyhow, I did get these guys done. So, and I don't know if I'll post them on my Etsy or if I'll just sell them in person, but they're each $100. If I sell them on Etsy, I have to get that extra money. But if I sell them in person, I'm a little bit more forgiving in that manner. I'll take a hit of $50 if I don't have to put in an extra expense. So, but yeah. Anyhow, I think they're pretty cute. Tell me what you think down in the comments. Yeah, and these, although I'm going to sell them separately, they are friends. They don't hate each other. Don't hate each other either. It just makes life a lot harder if you hate someone, so why do it? Anyhow, thanks for looking. God bless.